Okay, hi everyone. As you know, my name is Monica, and today I'll be the host of today's webinar in English. If you can hear me well, just a few people, if you could write just okay, that you can hear me as well as you could hear Maciek, that would be great. Okay, I can see your answers that everything is fine. Okay, I'm really happy to see that. Now, I want to welcome you all because you signed up for this webinar. I assume that you're all food lovers. So that's a good company today. I really hope that you're not hungry because we'll be looking at a lot of pictures of food and we'll be talking about a lot about food and cooking. Okay, I think we can get started. My first question to all of you is that do you cook? Do you cook at home or you just like watching when people cook? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Some of you write yes, some of you sometimes, a little bit. Okay. So we have more experienced and less experienced people who cook. Okay. Great. Okay. So my next question to all of you would be how often do you cook? You said that sometimes. Is there anyone here who cooks every single day, like a full dinner with a soup and with the main course? Is there anyone here who has time to cook every single day, like a two-course meal? Do we have any people who cook every single day? Yeah, okay, we do have people like that. Okay, great. Okay, when you cook, what do you like cooking? What's your favorite thing to cook? Is it dinner, or it's dessert or cakes, or maybe you like making breakfast? Is there any particular thing you really love cooking and preparing? Okay, breakfast, soups, baking cakes. Well, that's good. We're talking about desserts too. Dinners and cakes. Okay, I think we have really experienced people here when it comes to cooking. That's good. And is there anyone who's your favorite chef? Okay, your favorite chef. Chef is a person on the left, so this nice lady with a funny hat and a spoon. This is the chef. Okay, we have Jamie Oliver. This is one of the answers. Good, he's my favorite too. And yet Nigel Lawson, very good. Hard to pick one, someone says, but Isa says that Gordon Ramsay is the one she would choose. Okay, I can see that you have your favorites. Okay, we also have Alexander who cooks on his own and he just doesn't care about the recipes. Okay, now remember there is a difference between the word chef and chief. On the left, we have a chef who works in the kitchen, and on the right, we have a chief, for example, of some tribe or in military. So be careful with the vocabulary. Okay, when you cook, because I want to find out as much as possible about you, do you use cookbooks at all? Or you use internet. Yeah, you use a lot of cookbooks. You probably use internet. Yeah, I can see your answers. And do you also use English recipes? Okay, most of you actually wrote yes. Some of you not. Some of you yes. Okay, it depends on the person, really. Okay, all right, I have like millions of answers. Okay, so some of you write that you use Polish recipes and sometimes English or vice versa, but you do use some kind of recipes from the internet. Okay, now I'm going to show you the first, let's say a quiz thing. You're going to see a recipe on the screen. It's going to be in English. So this way we can actually test a little bit how much you actually understand from English recipes. So let's guess. In a second, you're going to see a recipe on the screen. It's visible right now. I'd like you to read it and tell me what is this recipe for. So what is the food you should get after doing everything was in what is in the recipe? Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Read it carefully and then tell me what is it. Okay, I already have one correct answer. That's good. Good. I have all correct answers. Good. Okay, I can see we have experts here, seriously. Okay, very good answers. Of course, it's the mayonnaise. It's the mayonnaise that you saw the recipe for. Okay, have you ever made your own mayonnaise at home? Or it's still ahead of you? Because I haven't tried it yet, but I really want to. Okay, some of you say never. Okay. Yeah, me either. I'm too lazy. I usually buy the ready-made mayonnaise. But if you want to try, you can look at our today's webinar on after today's meeting, or find it online and just make your own mayonnaise. Okay, now sometimes people, when they don't know English too well, or they want to be careful, they sometimes put the recipes into the Google Translator. Do you use this tool to help you with the recipes? Do you use Google Translator to help you with the recipes? Usually you say no and never. Okay, I'm really glad to see that. Some people say sometimes. Okay, this is it. I want to show you a recipe which I actually put into Google Translator, and this is what came up. So let's see if you can actually get the idea of what the recipe is for. So read the translation, which I got from the Google Translator, where I put a really nice recipe. And then I want you to write what you see with your own eyes, what you see after preparing all this. What could it be? Okay. All your reactions are just, smiley faces. So that's good. That's exactly what came to my mind when I did that with Google Translator. Wow, Svetlana, you're correct actually. This is exactly what it is. And Isa is correct too. Now, I'm sure you have some image of what this food looks like. I'm going to show you the real picture of this recipe, and you're right. It's the healthy chicken Caesar salad. So there you go. It is. It should look like this. I don't know if this is what you saw after reading the recipe. Okay, so exactly this is how it works. I really, really not encourage you to use the Google Translator and other tools like that to translate the recipes. That's why we have today's webinar to help us, and I'm going to help to guide you through the recipe so that you can do this on your own. Okay, let's start with the ingredients. Okay, the first ingredient you're going to see on the screen is this. You can see the label, so you basically know what it is. Now, what do you call this part of a chicken? Do you know? Very good. Okay. We have some answers, not so many, but we do have it. Exactly. This is actually some kind of an organic chicken, so it's a free-range, skinless chicken breasts. Okay, so this is the first thing we're going to use. This is some kind of a, let's say, one of the basic things that people use in the kitchen, I think, all over the world. Okay, the free-range chicken. What is a free-range chicken? What kind of chicken is it? What is your first association with the free-range? Something like, yeah, very good, exactly. So something like organic. Yeah, so it's a free range, so it's running around, not kept in cages. That's exactly it. If it's skinless, that means that's without the skin. Okay, all right. We have the second one. It's you need two duck breasts skin on. It's easy to guess because we have got the first one. So if it's a skin on, then you have the skin on the breasts, and this is what it looks like. So we've got the duck. I hope you like duck as much as I do. This is really delicious meat. Okay, now let's test a little bit more of your knowledge of what you already know. We need a thick slice of wholemeal bread. What is a wholemeal bread? Can you give me some suggestions in the chat box? Yeah, very good. Okay, very healthy. Yeah, exactly. So like the wholemeal bread, it means that it's the healthier one. So it's not like white bread, but it's a wholemeal. So this is what you can call it. Okay, 2 cloves of garlic. This is the second riddle. This is the next riddle. So 2 cloves of garlic. What is the garlic? Probably you know, but 2 cloves of garlic, how much is it actually? Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. That's it. This is what it looks like. So you have 2 cloves of garlic. So this part of the garlic which you can separate is called cloves. There you go. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what is this? Can you tell me what you call it? We have exactly, again, 2. And what do you call this thing? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. It's not leek, actually, but it's good. Okay, I have just a few correct answers. Now, we know that it's celery, right? We know that it's celery. And what do you call this part of celery? Because we have 2. So what would you call this picture? There are 2 of celery. So we have 2 of celery. What do you call it? Yeah, very good. Vitot, you're correct. We have 2 sticks of celery. Correct. Okay, well done. Now, in Poland, we use a lot of butter. In French cuisine, we also use a lot of butter. Now, when we have butter, in Poland, we only have butter, which is butter. Around the world, you can come across something which is called unsalted butter compared to salted butter. In Poland, I think we mostly can buy unsalted butter, which is without any taste. It's just butter. But I'm drawing your attention to salt and unsalted butter if you ever have a recipe with salted or unsalted butter. Exactly, niesolone. That's exactly it. So it's without salt. Now, when we want to add just a little bit of salt, what do you call this little bit of salt that you add to your food? It's not a spoon. It's not a couple. No. We have one correct answer, but I'm waiting for more. What do you call this? Just a tiny bit of salt. It's not a bit. No. It's not light salt. No. It's not a piece of salt. Okay. I have more correct answers. Very good. That's exactly it. It's called a pinch of salt. Okay? A pinch of salt. It's just a little, but you can also have a pinch of pepper or any other spices, but a pinch of salt. This is it. This is what we have. Now, if you read a recipe and you read something like this, runny honey. What can be runny honey? What do you think? Actually, I've come across this runny honey many times. Yeah, good. It's not really kind of honey. Yeah, exactly. Dominika is correct and Łukasz, very good. So it is the honey, which is like a fluid. Yeah, so it's actually easy to take it on a spoon and put it into your food. So it's a runny honey. There you go. Very good. Now, you probably know the word ground. What does it mean? We have ground, we have underground. What does it mean? Ground. Podłoże. Okay, we have a nice answer. Ziemia. Okay. Great. Okay, Natalia is correct. We have one correct answer. Ground has also another meaning in the kitchen. To grind is the verb, the first form. And yeah, okay, you're right. We also have ground pepper and ground meat. And don't forget, ground pepper and ground meat has nothing to do with the earth. It has nothing to do with the ground, like that we are walking on, but it's connected with the way it looks. So on the left, you're going to see ground meat. And on the right, we're going to see ground pepper. Remember, it's very confusing. It has nothing to do with the ground or underground. It's just the meaning, it's just grammatically formed. So ground pepper and ground meat. Okay. Now, do you like peanut butter? It's not really a popular thing in Poland, but still, I think it gains popularity. Okay, some people say yes, some people say no. Some people love it. Okay. Personally, I like peanut butter sometimes, but it is very heavy. Okay, you can buy 2 types of peanut butter. One is the one without little chunks inside, and one is with the little chunks inside. So one is called smooth peanut butter, and the other one is called crunchy peanut butter. I'm going to show you the picture. On the left, you see smooth peanut butter, and on the right, we have a crunchy peanut butter. Smooth can be, it's not only about the peanut butter, it can be about anything. So for example, you can have a very smooth soup, yeah, without any little bits of vegetables, right? And crunchy, if something goes in your mouth, then it's crunchy. So it's a crunchy peanut butter. Okay, there you go. So it's with little bits or without. Okay, now I want to ask you about the meat. Do we have any vegetarians in the group? Yeah, we do have vegetarians. Okay. Yes and no. Yeah, we have various answers. Okay. Probably most of you are not vegetarians. So there's going to be one thing about meat, about the names for different types of meat. Okay. So just to sum up, on the left, in the left top corner, we have pork. You have the picture of this little pig. So this is called pork. In the middle, we have beef. So yummy hamburgers made of beef. On the right side at the very top, you have lamb meat, which is not so popular in Poland, but well, maybe it's becoming more popular. Then we have veal, which is like a young cow. Yeah, so this is called veal. And the last one is poultry. So anything that is running and has wings. Now my question to you, which is your favorite kind of meat? So pork, beef, lamb, veal, poultry. Lamb. Okay. Some people actually say lamb, poultry. I think we have exactly this. Okay, lamb only in Greece. Okay, so okay, we have very, very mixed answers. However, I think not many people said beef. Oh, there's one person who said beef. Okay, because I thought you would all say lamb or veal. Okay, very good. Now, in a second, we're going to learn a few words, which you might might know or might not know. They're all connected with how we prepare the food. It's just going to be the first part of such vocabulary because we're going to finish our today's presentation with with a similar topic. Now, again, it's going to be like a quiz, so we'll see how well you can do things in the kitchen. If you have a picture with this, what do you have to do? What do you call this activity? What do we do with this zucchini? Mm-hmm. Okay, cutting I have. Cutting, chopping. Chopping is more like you cut it into really, really small pieces. So to chop is like to, do it really quickly. We have one correct answer. We have one correct answer, two correct answers. This is from Natalia and Aneta. You're right, it's to slice because you slice the zucchini. You can slice the bread or ham. So you put it into slices. So you slice it with a big knife or a small knife. It doesn't matter. Okay. We have two good answers, so let's go. Now with cheese, I love cheese because I love pizza and everything with cheese, so this is me. So what do you call this activity? What do you do with the cheese? Not only with the cheese, but with other things too. What do you call this activity? No, not wipe. Mm-hmm. Sharp. No, no, no. Sharp. The knife can be sharp. That it's cutting really well. But this is something different you do with the cheese. Mm-hmm. Yes, Isa, congratulations. You've got the correct answer. Okay, it's to grate. It's to grate. This is the way it's spelled. So it's grate, G-R-A-T-E, G-R-A-T-E, and this is to grate cheese. Sometimes when you buy cheese in the supermarket or somewhere, you can buy like slices of cheese, but you can also buy grated cheese. And also in the recipes, you might find information that you need, for example, half a kilogram of grated cheese. So this is it. The next one is what do you do with, for example, in this case, the milk that well, you move the jar. Good. Okay, I have many correct answers. Exactly. It's to pour. So you pour milk into the mixture, for example. Yeah, to pour something over something. Okay, then we have a really easy one. So you have all the little ingredients and then you have to mix it. Very good. Okay, very nice. All correct answers. So you just mix it. Okay, let's not be too optimistic because now we have something more difficult. You take this utensil and you have to, again, mix it It's not whip. It's not, yeah, we have one correct answer again. It's from Aneta. Very good. It's to whisk. Yeah. So you whisk, for example, in this case, eggs, for example, for your scrambled eggs, for example. So you whisk it. So don't mix it completely, but like whisk it. Okay, correct. This one is already with the answer, and this is just like in Polish, maybe. It's to roll. It's to roll, but you can also do, you can also roll some specific, for example, tortilla with something inside. This is also called rolling. Now, when you cook something, whether it's a soup or something else, you use a spoon to do it. You sometimes have to, what you have in your pot, and sometimes you have to do it all the time and sometimes only occasionally. So what do you do with the spoon in the pot? Yeah, very good. We have one correct answer. Okay. Yeah, okay. Spill would not be good. If we spilled, that would mean that the mixture just, went outside of the pot and is messing our kitchen. So not spilling. Yeah, we have one correct answer, I think. Stir. Actually, two. Isa and one more person gave me the correct answer. It's to stir. So you have to stir the something what you have in your pot. You have to stir constantly, so all the time, or you just have to stir it occasionally. Okay, sometimes it happens in the recipes. Okay, this one is going to be a little bit more difficult. If you have to cook something for a long time on a very low heat, yeah, so it's not, so the temperature on your cooker is not, maximum, but it's on a really minimum, and then you have to do it for a really, really long time so that all the flavors really mix and it's delicious. What you see, yes, Ella said that it's a stew, but it's not an activity. Yeah, stew is the effect. Okay. Choke. No, no, no. We don't want. Um, okay. Yes, very good, Łukasz. Very good answer. Correct. It's to simmer. It's to simmer. Czyli duszenie, right? To simmer something. So to cook it on a very low temperature for a really long time. Very good. I have a suggestion to all of you. Please give me only English words in the chat box, okay? That would make it a little bit easier. But yeah, duszenie. Okay, so this is it. Simmer. Okay, we have one more, and this one is really difficult. Well, I'm really curious if anyone gets it. This is the way you can prepare your eggs. So they are not scrambled, they are not cooked, but it's a completely different thing. You put them into boiling water and you wait until they are beautifully white, and inside you have the yolk. So, someone said French egg. I'm not sure if it's called French egg, but it's a special method of cooking. Yes, Natalia is correct. Yes. All right. Natalia is correct. Yeah, and Eva is correct. Okay, we have really experts in preparing eggs. Hold on, we're gonna get to eggs in a second. Okay, very good. To poach, exactly. To poach. So this is it. That's why we have poached eggs, which are cooked on the water, and then inside they're still soft, and outside they're beautifully white. That's it. So we have poached eggs. The next one, I already gave you the answer, which is saute until softened. Until softened. This is the type of activity you have to do very often with the onion or with pepper, like here, or with mushrooms, and you usually do it on the frying pan. And the activity is called to saute. Yeah. Do you know what it is? Do you know what this activity is? And now I want Polish answers, really. Okay, so this time I want it in Polish. What do you do with it? Hmm. Yeah, yes, with the onion, yeah, exactly. All your answers are correct. Podsmażanie, zrumienienie, zeszklenie as well. Exactly. So sometimes you might find in the recipes that it's saute until softened, for example, with the onion or with something else. The next one is really easy. So I'm sure I'm going to have millions of answers. What do you do with this? Of course, it's bake. Okay. And the last one is coming back to our meat and preparing meat is this. What do you do with beautiful chicken in the oven? Yes, Łukasz is correct. Łukasz is correct and Aneta is correct. Okay, yeah, we have like 50-50 good answers and incorrect answers. Grilling is more like you really grill on like you barbecue or something. So I would go for this, but roast, this is the proper word for this activity. So to roast. Okay, good. Now we can relax. So we can relax because for a second, I'm not going to ask you any difficult questions, but you're still going to have to tell me something. Is there anyone here in our today's group that really likes and is interested in healthy food and always reads the labels and kind of is crazy about what they eat? Okay, I can see a lot of you are. Yeah, okay. I must admit that I'm too. I'm trying to be at least a little bit. I don't only buy organic food, but we're going to concentrate on what we can do to choose better quality food. Okay, and if it's in English, so that we can deal with it and we can read it. Also, when you go abroad on vacation, so they can choose your food responsibly. Now, something that we have on the Polish products too are called the labels. On the left, we have a standard nutrition facts table with all the facts and all the numbers connected with the food you're actually buying. Now in Poland we have exactly the same because it's some kind of a standard, but I want you to understand some of the expressions from the left. Now the box is called nutrition facts. They usually give you the serving size, which in this case is 1 cup. So 1 cup, we're going to talk about the measurements later. And then we have all the little strange names like calories. This is clear. Fat. What is a fat? If you know the answer, just put it in the box. Tłuszcz, tłuszcze. Then we have sodium, which is like in Polish, so it's not really difficult. Yes, sód. Okay. Then we have carbohydrates or carbs, as some people like calling it. So carbohydrate or very good. Okay, węglowodany. Dietary fiber. Yes, fiber is generally błonnik. Okay, this is it. All right. Then we have sugars, which is easy, I think. Perfect. And protein. This is the last one, but it's also very important to know. Yes, exactly. Białko. Very good. So once we know how to read the labels, there are millions of other labels that you can find, especially on the organic food or healthy food. Now, let's read them with understanding. So let's look at some of the labels which are popular on organic and healthy food. Let's take a look. The first one is artificial flavors. So for example, no artificial flavors added or no colors. What is it? Artificial flavors and artificial colors. It is exactly sztuczne barwniki, sztuczne kolory. We can have preservatives. So sometimes it says no preservatives. Very good. Konserwanty. Very good answers. Whole grain. This is the next one. Pełne ziarno. Very good answers. Wheat flour. Mąka pszenna. Very good. And fat-free. This is something we probably know. If something is fat-free, so there's like 0% fat. Very good. Okay, so fat-free, beztłuszczowy, 0% tłuszczu. And sugar-free, our favorite. Okay, very good. There is one more thing I want to draw your attention to. This is the next one, which is called corn syrup. Do you know what corn syrup is? Word by word, it is syrop kukurydziany. It's a bad thing. Definitely it's not syrop klonowy. Absolutely not. Syrop klonowy is very good and it's healthy. But corn syrup, syrop kukurydziany, but corn syrup is actually what is in Poland called syrop glukozowo-fruktozowy, which is like a really, really, really sweet thing. Very bad for you. Okay, that's exactly it. Yeah, Sebastian knew the answer. Exactly. This is it. Extremely unhealthy. Yes, exactly. So be careful. This is not called any glucose or anything in English, but it's called corn syrup. Now, of course, we can have nice words such as 100% natural. And if you're allergic to certain things, you might also look for gluten-free or milk-free products. That's exactly it. Very good. Okay. Okay, we also have organic dairy. What is dairy? I gave you the picture, so you should probably know by now. What is dairy? Yeah, this is a general name for everything which is made from milk. That's exactly it. Produkty mleczne, nabiał. Okay, a few minutes ago, you said you were really experts in eggs, so I hope we know how the egg is actually constructed. So it consists of a shell, the yolk, and the white. The white is easy, the yolk is a little bit more difficult to remember, and the shell, it's like shell. Now, we have types of eggs, again, connected with healthy food. Do you know what they are called in English? So, for example, organic food, this is easy. Yeah, ekologiczne, so organic. We also have wolny wybieg. We had it today, so I'm just checking if you remember. We had it with the chicken, and now it's with the eggs. Not free run? Yes, Aneta, it's a free range. Good. Okay, we also have category 3, so theoretically the worst ones. So the cage. Then we have barn laid, which is the second category, so it's like right below the worst ones. Then we have free range, and we've already discussed that. And then we have organic. Okay, there you go. So if you're looking for the symbols, I put the Polish symbols that we have 3210, and this is what they are called in English. You might find it useful one day. Now, do you like eggs? Yeah, okay. Almost all of you wrote yes. What is your favorite way of preparing eggs? Do you have your favorite? Like when you go on vacation, you always ask for this one. Okay, we have omelets, boiled, scrambled, soft boiled, Okay, good. You have your favorites. Okay, when we look at the little boy here, he prepared a lot of kinds of food, like many kinds of eggs for us. Now, ordering perfect eggs for you is not easy. Let's take a look at all these little names. We have the sunny side up, which is on the right, and this is called sunny side up, really, because it looks like a sun. So it's a sunny side up egg. Then we have hard-boiled egg, which is just hard because you can slice it. Then we have soft-boiled, so one of the favorites of many of you. Then we have here something like a tea egg, so it's like boiled in tea. It's not really popular in Poland. We also have deviled egg, which is prepared with spices. So it's not only salt, but it has some spicy things inside too. Over there we have also poached egg, which we've already discussed. We have omelette, which is easy to guess, and scrambled eggs, which you already know. Okay, so we have all kinds of different ways of preparing eggs. Now, I want us to move on to something interesting, which is connected with measuring food and using measuring cups and spoons and everything in your recipes. How much and how many? This is my next question. Now, when you cook, do you use a scale, which is on the left, spoons, which are in the middle, or a cup on the right? Which is your favorite? Yeah, most of you said scale. Scale and spoons. Okay. Yeah, it depends on the person. It depends what I cook. Yes, it's true. I used all of them. However, I also really like the cup instead of a scale. So that's why very often American recipes are very easy because you don't need a scale to do them. You just need cups. You can buy these cups everywhere now in every supermarket in Poland, so it's really, really easy. Now, just to clear one thing, we have a tablespoon and a teaspoon. The tablespoon is the big one. The teaspoon is the small one. So very often in the recipes, you might find TBST, which is for the tablespoon, and TSP, like an abbreviation for the teaspoon. Okay, so always be careful with that. When you cook from recipes in English, you also have to be careful with the US and the metric measuring. So we have teaspoons or milliliters or grams, kilograms. As you can see on the left, we also have cups, which is calculated into metric symbols with milliliters, which can be very helpful. I'm not going to go through all those numbers now, because the best way to do it is either select on the website that you want to change into metric, or just use any converter online to help you with converting the units. Now we're going to take a look at some difference in vocabulary between American and English, because it's also very interesting, and especially if some of you like Jamie Oliver and some of you like American websites, it can be very, very helpful. In America, for example, we have a stick of butter, and in Britain we have a knob of butter. They're exactly the same. So there you go. Now, we have something like a heaped tablespoon, and it also happens sometimes that you see something like that in a recipe. What can be a heaped tablespoon? What do you think? It's a tablespoon, so this is it. This is measurement. Very good. Kasia and Svetlana, you have very good answer. This is it. So it's like a full tablespoon, okay? Czubata. It's a big, big tablespoon full of flour or something else. When you cook and when you use other recipes, you also have to be careful with the degrees, okay? So if you can, just convert it online. If it's a book, check online what's the conversion between the Fahrenheit and Celsius, because you also need to be careful with that. Now, the next problematic word we have, I think you can guess it from the context, but the cling film or the plastic wrap or the Glad wrap, it's still the same thing. So it's this plastic thing you use to cover things in the kitchen. Sometimes they also come up in the recipes because you have to wrap something in the cling film or the plastic wrap. So be careful with that. Between the UK and US, there is also parchment paper and greaseproof paper. What is it? Tell me, what do you think it is? Any ideas? What is it? Yeah, exactly. That's it. Papier do pieczenia. Very good answers. That's exactly it. Now, depending on the country, you use a different word, but it's still the same product. Okay, the next one is what you see on the screen right now. What is it? We have diced tomatoes. This is not even important, but the important thing is how they are. Yeah, okay. And in English, what do you call it in English? What do you think? Good. We have a can. So we can have canned tomatoes. Good. Actually, again, there are two different words. One is British, one is American. So you're all giving me the word canned. This is good. This is more American. And the British one? Do you know the British equivalent to canned tomatoes? Okay. After all, I think we all know the American version. Okay, so the canned items, so canned tomatoes, for example, and tinned. Yeah, so in the UK, you would call them tinned tomatoes. Okay, then I want us to move straight to desserts, because I love baking and I love making desserts. This is definitely my favorite part of cooking in the kitchen. So now I'm going to go through quickly with you through the list of vocabulary that you might find in the recipes for cakes, muffins, all sorts of desserts. Now, the basic ingredients that you need for a cake are probably flour, mąka, right? Then we have eggs, which we've already discussed. Then, of course, we have sugar, cukier, chocolate, which is my favorite. We also have something like chocolate chips, and this is quite original for the American recipes. In Poland, when we need chocolate, they just tell us you need 20 or 200 grams of chocolate. In American recipes, you might find something like chocolate chips. You see them in the picture. So they are created, these chocolate chips are specifically created for baking. So for example, you have the 1 cup of chocolate chips. This is it. So chocolate chips, they have nothing to do with chips for eating and salt and salty ones, but they are made of chocolate, and you use them for chocolate cakes. Now, what we also use in recipes for desserts are baking powder and baking soda. This can also come in handy if you bake a lot. Now, the two basic ingredients for all the desserts are, of course, flour on the left and sugar on the right. Obviously, we have many different kinds of sugars. One of them, which is now available in Poland, this is what it looks like in Poland, which is called cukier drobny. This is very often in the recipes, in American and British recipes. There's a special name for it. Do you know it? We have one answer, which is not exactly, we don't have, yes, we have one correct answer, Ella. Thank you. Okay, so it's not a baking sugar. No. We have two names again, British and American. The American is superfine sugar and the British is castor sugar. So if you see in any recipe the castor sugar, it's good to find in the supermarket what you see on the screen and not the regular sugar because it's just easier to dissolve in your mixture. So that is it. Now I really like decorating too. What you put on the cake or a muffin is the decoration, and in Britain it's called icing. In America it's called frosting. They are all connected with some kind of a cold thing, yeah? So icing and frosting. When it comes to decorating, you usually use a lot of sugar. What do you call this type of sugar? Sugar powder? It's a little bit different than sugar powder. It's not. No. Icing, yeah, Ella is correct, and yeah, okay, we have, it's not about the color that this, okay, let's go. So we have a few names for it. It's either icing sugar, which is more British, powdered sugar, which is like international, and we also have American confectioner's sugar. So if you see this difficult name somewhere in the recipe, don't panic. It's just powdered sugar. So confectioner's sugar is powdered sugar. Okay, we have a little bit more of American versus British. What do you see on the screen right now is a kind of an herb which is used in Mexican food usually. It's not parsley, okay, it's something else. What is it? It's not parsley, to nie pietruszka, tylko kolendra. Okay, I can see your comments, which is yummy. Yes, it is very good. Okay, and again, we have two names. We have coriander in British English and cilantro in American. So again, if you like Mexican food and if you use different kind of recipes, be careful, cilantro and coriander. We also have obvious differences like corn flour and cornstarch, American and British, but it's still the same. So it's mąka kukurydziana. With the flour, I'm also going to give you some names for the flour which comes up in recipes. On the left, we have plain flour, so it's like normal flour, or it's also called all-purpose flour. Yeah, all-purpose or plain flour, it's still the same. It's like normal flour. On the right, we also have something like self-rising flour. This is a self-rising flour. This is a flour which is already mixed with baking powder. Okay, so be careful if you go abroad and if you want to buy plain flour, all-purpose flour, right, or self-rising. Yeah, the self-rising flour already consists of the flour and the baking powder, so be careful. I'm also going to give you some ideas about the cream because this is always a big mystery. I don't know if you have the same problem. If we have a recipe where we have to use cream, we always ask ourselves what kind of cream should we use. I'm giving you some definitions on the right on the left. So you have cream with just single cream or a double cream. Then we have half and half cream, which is like a mixture of milk and cream. Then we can have a light cream, which was, I'm going to give you this in the handout, so don't worry. And we also have the whipping cream. The whipping cream, so this is what you see in the picture, the whipping cream. This is the cream with a lot of fat inside, which is delicious for desserts. Okay, don't worry, if I change the slide now, you're going to find this in the materials. We have one more difference when it comes to vegetables. What is it? What do you call it? Again, there are two different names in the British and American English. What do you think? Okay, we have zucchini. We also have, okay, most of your, okay, Łukasz, you gave me the second name, exactly. So courgette in British and zucchini in American English. There is a difference. Also with this kind of meat, which you You buy it or you make it at home, but it's in little pieces. We've already discussed that. It's like, today I already gave you this name, so you should remember that. Do you remember? Yeah, good. You remember. So it's a ground meat. However, in the UK, you would rather hear minced meat. It's exactly the same. Yeah, exactly. Isa was correct. So minced or ground. Don't forget, it's ground, not grounded. Okay, so be careful. Be careful. It's ground meat. Okay, one more. We have this delicious breakfast. And again, the different terminology, which is oatmeal and porridge in the UK. There is one more thing, and this is something I love, really. Do you know what it's called? You probably know the American version, actually. So what do you call it in, yeah, shrimp. Yes, you're right. It's a shrimp. However, sometimes it's called prawn. There are many differences between them, that sometimes prawns are bigger than shrimp and vice versa. So there are some slight differences, but generally there are some also differences, geographical difference, so between American and British. Now, the last thing I want to cover with you today is preparing food. A messy kitchen is a happy kitchen. I really agree with that. Of course, you have to clean afterwards. However, it's good to use it as best as possible as long as you're there and you're cooking. So let's take a look at some of the vocabulary connected with preparing food. We have already had some of those words. However, they were not mentioned. So when you have the eggs and you have to use this utensil, what do you do with this? Not really a whisk because it's a different utensil. We whisked eggs before, but if you want the eggs to transform into something really white and puffy, what do you do it? Yes, we have one correct answer. It was Ella, to beat the eggs. So beat is basically to mix food such as eggs, cream, or butter well using a fork or a special tool or machine. And this tool can be called a beater. There you go. So this is what you see on the screen. Don't worry, you will have it in the handout too. Okay, the next one is this. What do? You put everything into this machine and you do what? You mix it together, so you call it, yeah, very good, to blend it. Yeah, so to mix different foods or other substances together. Very well. The next one is, this one is maybe more difficult. Before you make a cake, sometimes they ask you to take butter and put a little bit of butter in the baking tray. To grease, very good. This is one option. We also have one more. To grease or to butter. Very good. So to spread butter on something, it's to butter or to grease. There are two words. It's a verb. Okay, czasownik. Then if we cut things into cubes, we say that it's, what do? Okay, I'm just going to help you. Yeah, chop. Remember, chop is to chop into small pieces, like really small pieces. For example, you can chop nuts. So you cut them, and then they're little pieces. Over here, it's a little bit different because it's a cube. So this little piece is a cube, and the activity is to cube. Yeah, to cut cheese, bread, or other food into cubes. Yeah, w takie małe sześciany. The next one is the chili peppers, and you have these little seeds inside. They're very spicy, so you want to remove them. What do you call it? Pytanie od pani Izy, tak, to dice is exactly the same, like it's exactly the same. So to put it in, to cut it like that. To trim is a little bit different. Trim bardziej przycinać, right? Over here it would be to deseed. So we have seeds, ziarenka, and we deseed, for example, a chili pepper. So we remove the seeds from a fruit or vegetable. Okay, we deseed it. Then if we have a salad and we want to just put a little bit of oil on it, what do you call it? You can splash. There is also a nice one to drizzle with oil. So you drizzle something with oil, so with some other liquid, some oil or something else, some dressing. We also have something which everyone loves in Poland, which is mashed potatoes. So if we have potatoes and we mash them, we get mashed potatoes. Another favorite, it's an apple. What do you do with an apple? Yeah, very good. So we peel the apple. Yeah, so to remove the skin from a fruit, it's to peel. Very good. Now, before you put something into the oven, because this is the oven, before you put something in the recipes, you very often read that you have to set the temperature and you have to not to heat. Okay, we have one good answer. It's to preheat. So you have to preheat the oven before putting in the food. So preheat, turn it on before putting in the things. The next one is connected with the fish. What do you do with a fish? Yeah, very good answers, exactly. So we have to scale the fish. So we have to remove the scales from the fish. It's to scale the fish. Okay, we're almost there. There's one more thing we do with all different foods, with the meat and everything else. We have to put some spices on it. And what do you call it? To put spices? Very good, Isa again. To season, exactly, to add salt, pepper, other spices to food. This is seasoning. Then with the cabbage, for example, what do you do with the cabbage? You have to cut it into little pieces. So you might know it again. Yeah, very good. So you have to chop, yes, you can also chop it or shred it. Yeah, chop or shred, both would be correct here. Not really this season, but in the summer, we very often do things with cherries. And to remove this little thing inside, which is hard, what do you call it? Okay, again, we have good answers. To stone. So to remove the stone from inside a fruit. This is to stone. To stone cherries, for example. Okay, that's good. And the last one, almost the last one, this is the one connected with Thanksgiving, for example. So we have a turkey, and inside the turkey, we have the delicious things. And what do you call it? What do you do with a turkey? To Yeah, it's a stuffing. Yes, so to stuff a turkey or a chicken, it's to fill meat or vegetables with small pieces of other type of food. This is stuff, to stuff or stuffing. And almost the last one is what you do with for example, with a salad. And you have a salad, you put the dressing, and then what do you do with it? You mix. Of course, you can also say mix, but there is another word for that. Okay, we almost got it. Okay, it's to toss. Yeah, so to mix food with the liquid so that it becomes covered in the liquid, so to toss. All these words are taken straight from recipes, so you really, really might find them tomorrow or today. And the very last one, which you should already know, when you have cream and when you want to use it as a cream in a dessert, what do you do with it? To whip cream. Thank you, Isa. This is a very good answer. So to mix the food very quickly in order to put air into it, it's to whip. So you have whipped cream. Usually it's a whipped cream. Okay, guys, I think it's time for the last test. This is going to be your last task today, and it's going to check all your knowledge from today's webinar. In a second, you're going to see the recipe. You see it on the screen right now. And please read the recipe very carefully. I helped you a little bit with the pictures around it to actually get the idea of what it is with the red words, which may be difficult. After you read this recipe, I'm going to show you the picture of the food, which is the outcome of this recipe. And we'll see if you're correct. Okay? So I'm going to give you a few seconds to read the recipe, and then we're going to see if you're correct with the picture I'm going to show you. Okay? I helped you a little bit with the red words. Lie in a baking tray, czyli wyłożyć blaszkę papierowymi ręcznikami. So I'm going to help you a little bit with that. And the rest you can read. So go ahead. There's a lot of vocabulary from today's lesson, from today's webinar, so we'll see if we can get it. If If you have any questions, of course, you can put them in the chat box. I can answer. Cornmeal, this means kasza kukurydziana. Okay. Okay, good. So this is it. Okay, now you're giving me already what it is. Of course, it's about the shrimp, and of course they're fried. But by looking at the recipe, I'm sure you've read the recipe. You check the recipe, and now I'm going to show you the two pictures, and you have to tell me which picture is actually showing this recipe. So, is this recipe showing the shrimp on the left or on the right? Which recipe is it? Okay, we have very good answers. Congratulations. Of course, it's the one on the left. It's the shrimp which is fried, but then it's not with any sauce or any vegetables. This is it. Okay, guys, I think you've passed the test, so congratulations. I'm going to put in the materials from today's webinar, all the information, all the vocabulary that was here. Thank you very much for your attention and hope to see you soon and hear you. Okay, thank you.
Dziękuję Moniko, dziękuję Państwu za udział w webinarium. Jeszcze na samo zakończenie, jeżeli mają Państwo jakieś pytania, to prosimy teraz szybciutko zadawać je w okienku questions. Ja jeszcze tylko przypomnę, że niedługo wyślemy do Państwa nagranie z tego webinarium, wyślemy również PDF ze słownictwem, o którym wspominała Monika. To będzie prawdopodobnie w połowie przyszłego tygodnia. Tak więc jeszcze możemy Państwa zaprosić na kolejne webinaria. Z angielskiego to już będzie przyszły miesiąc. Natomiast jeszcze w przyszłym tygodniu we wtorek mamy webinarium z niemieckiego, więc serdecznie na nie zapraszamy. Widzę, że pojawiło się tu jakieś pytanie, całkiem sporo pytań. Oddam głos Monice, ale chyba na wszystkie nie odpowiem, bo jest ich naprawdę strasznie dużo. To już przyślemy do Państwa odpowiedzi indywidualnie, mailowo, ale jeszcze na chwilę dam Monikę.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for your questions. There was one question about to drizzle with oil. Yes, of course you can just put oil into something or add oil, but to drizzle with oil, it's a verb, czasownik, right? So to drizzle with oil, it's something completely different than just put oil in it. Once again, I want to thank you very much for the webinar today and, well, and have a nice afternoon. Thank you.